we will begin, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. I'm running a little bit late today because the algorithm on TikTok was absolutely swizzling me away. And we're on, ladies and gentlemen. We are triple streaming this morning. This joyous morning in the United Kingdom where Donald Trump has arrived now in the United Kingdom. He's here. There's gonna be all sorts of pomp and pageantry and, you know, and media gaffes. And it's the circus has arrived to the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. The circus has arrived. That's what we're talking about in the United Kingdom. And we're going to just reiterate some of the things, you know, about the United Kingdom becoming part of the United States. I do see that happening, and I know that you guys can see it happening now as well. So I'm going to start by getting the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go on, normally in the mornings I have the subscribers only chat on. For some reason, the software that you it's been funny. The software, it updated a while ago, and it's never been and it's not been as good since. So for you guys who've been on the live stream, sometimes I can't turn it off. Sometimes I can't press the buttons. There was an update and it's not letting me turn on the subscribers only chat. So anyway, it is what it is, guys. The chat's open, so it's going to be a bit wild this morning. Darren, good morning. Good morning to you. Candy Rocks. Inna is saying good morning. Morning to you, Inna. Mickey Boy saying good morning. Tiggs with a Z100 is saying hey, and hey to you, Tiggs. I hope you're well. Jeanette Ryan Grasshopper is saying good morning. Lots of people saying good morning. Cushions fluffed, toes stubbed. I don't know what that means. Oh, I'm assuming Candy Rocks has stubbed her toe. Right, lots of comments jumping on, guys. I do apologize. I might not be able to get all of the comments today because the chat's open. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is in the building. He's in the building now. So let's look at the stage. Donald Trump's touchdown. I think he landed at Stansted yesterday. September the 16th, which is kicking off a 3-day state visit, I guess, hosted by King Charles. I always feel strange saying, because does anyone else feel strange saying King Charles? It seems like he should be Prince Charles. Anyway, so this is a 3-day state visit by Donald Trump, and he's going to be hosted by King Charles and the Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Going to be very interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes. Now, I do believe this is a big deal for the United Kingdom. It's kind of not really a big deal for the United States, but if you live in the United Kingdom, which I do, and I know a lot of you do, this is a big deal, especially as we're moving towards this new dynamic now where the United Kingdom is going to become part of the United States. Can anyone else see it, ladies and gentlemen? And be honest, guys, put it in the chat, you know. Put it in the chat, guys. Can you, if you can remember me doing the first videos, like over a year ago, when I spoke about the United Kingdom becoming part of the United States, I can remember I got a lot of pushback on that. And people saying, oh, Sean, that'll never happen. You know, we're proud to be British. I'm like, right, okay, let's just see. Like, if you can remember me doing that video, what were your initial thoughts then? And what are your initial thoughts now? You know, like over a year's elapsed. Does it look more likely? Has the sentiment in the United Kingdom changed? I would say it has. I would say it has. Now, whether this is a full military invasion, which I think is unlikely, or whether this is just more US influence into the United Kingdom, or whether this is just, you know, I mean, look, guys, let's be clear. Let's be honest. They're saying in the United Kingdom now that Sharia courts are legal. I'm not making that up. They're saying now in the United Kingdom that Sharia courts are legal. And if people want to abide by Sharia, then that's fine. So where's the difference? So what if I want to identify as, do you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, I've just figured it out. Ladies and gentlemen. The precedence has been set. Guys, I've just done it right now in my head. This is why you follow me, right? This is why you come onto my live streams. So, Sharia courts in the United Kingdom, they're allowed, you know. That's the reality. You know, if people want to abide by Sharia, that's fine. Well, here's the thing. What if I want to abide by the US Constitution? You see where I'm going now, guys? You see where I'm going now? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So if I want to abide by the US Constitution, what's the difference in Muslim, what's the difference in the legislation that says Muslims, can abide by Sharia if they want? Why can't I abide by the US Second Amendment? Or why can't I have the right to bear arms? If I identify I'm going to identify as an American. Do you know what? We should all identify as Americans and just say, yep, we have the right to bear arms. Anyway, guys, sorry, I'll continue. My knee is absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, you guys on YouTube, I whacked my knee just before I jumped on here, and it's okay now, but it's still throbbing a bit. So let me continue, guys. Sorry. Obviously, Donald Trump's going to be hosted by Keir Starmer, and I mean, there's going to be some fantastic conversations behind the scenes. And King Charles still feels like it's Prince Charles. Now, this is the first of US president to score 2 state visits to the United Kingdom. Now, this is, a rare honor, I guess, that everybody's talking about. He's staying at Windsor Castle, which is a big thing. It's a big thing. He's staying at Windsor Castle. I'd like to stay at Windsor Castle since Buckingham Palace allegedly is still under renovation. Now, I don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure they could get him, I'm pretty sure they could find a bed space for DJT. But anyway, Donald Trump's staying at Windsor Castle since Buckingham Palace allegedly is under renovation. And Donald Trump does love the United Kingdom. He does, he really does. As I understand it, was it his nanan or his mum? Maybe I think it's his mum Scottish. I don't know. I think his mum's Scottish. Lots of protests in Windsor. They've got a big mural, and they're shining it on Windsor Castle of Donald Trump, like arm in arm with Jeffrey Epstein. So I don't know how that's going to be received, but the picture's there, and I don't know what they're going to achieve, and I don't know how it's going to be received, but whatever. So let's have a look at what we think are going to be, what we think's happening, what's going to be on the horizon, and let's look at any controversies first. Because let's face it, it's Donald Trump. He's not shy of opening his mouth in front of those, in front of the media. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try and get as many comments on. I'm going to try and get as many. What just happened? Yeah, right, guys. The software today is just been an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. This software. Give me a second. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, listen. I'm just warning everyone now. The TikTok software, it's skitching. It's for me, it's freezing. It's freezing the screen, and it's just been strange. It updated like a couple of days ago, and there's quite a lot of bugs in it. But anyway, I'm going to get some comments. Before we start, ladies and gentlemen, can you do me a real big favor, guys? Can you do me a real big favor? Like, comment, subscribe, hit those bell notifications. The buttons up here somewhere. If you're watching on TikTok, those are they up there? Yeah, they are. The buttons that follow, because I really appreciate that. And if you're watching on YouTube, because we are triple streaming this morning, ladies and gentlemen, simultaneously streaming, the buttons are down below. The subscribe button, bell notification. Those really help me out. Share my stuff on your socials, guys, as well. If you can do that, that really helps me out as well with the algorithm. If my stuff's been if my stuff's been shared. Candy Rocks is saying we need our own cult. I don't know what we're doing. What cult are we doing? Sorry, Sean, I'm not spamming. It's doing itself. Yeah, so Miss T here. Yeah, there's something wrong with the software, guys. The software on TikTok, it's been a nightmare. Normally in the mornings I have subscribers only chat, so that so it's not as wild. Wouldn't let me do that this morning. But Miss T is reposting her posts a lot. So let's just go with it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just go with it. Inna is saying, Bob, put black magic out for your lives. Oh right, right, okay, yeah, Bob Villain, yeah, he might have done some voodoo. Him and his crazy cats doing some voodoo chanting or something. Candy Rocks Candy Rocks wants a cult. Can we have? I mean, what's the definition? What is the definition of a cult? I guess. Google it is saying. Exclusive. Russia close to cutting oil output due to drone attacks, sources say. Yeah, so just quickly, guys, with the conflict, what's happening in Ukraine, I've said this a few times, and what happens predominantly this time of year, both sides try and attack they don't try, they do. Both sides attack each other's energy infrastructure, so gas, oil, electricity, anything that will turn the heating off and make it difficult for people, because that just puts added strain on already short resources. Right, let me continue, guys. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the protest. If you're anywhere near Windsor today, please give me a shout out. But if you're anywhere near Windsor today or in Windsor, you've probably seen the crowds, the anti-Trump activists. Now, I would speculate that a lot of these guys are being paid. I don't know how long they're going to stay, because it's quite, it is raining quite a bit today, but let's just go with it. They're not holding back. Last night, somebody, and I don't know where they get the funding from, is like I said, they projected the big image of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein onto Windsor Castle. Absolutely insane. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I don't think it has. I'm pretty sure that's never, I don't think that's ever happened before, but, it is what it is. Now, they're dragging up Trump's past ties to Jeffrey Epstein. One of the things did we all forget? Did everybody forget when Elon Musk tweeted, if those files don't get released, that's because Trump's in them? Did everybody forget that? Did we all just forget that and brush that under the carpet? Did we forget it? Oh, yeah, I remember that. You see how quickly people forget things. You see how quickly people move on. You see how quickly people don't care. So that really happened, that really happened. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I thought Elon Musk's plane was going to fall out of the sky. So there's, there's that controversy. Now, this comes after the UK's former ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson. Now, he's a piece of work, guys. Peter Mandelson got sacked from his own Epstein connections. So is everybody connected to Epstein? And who is Epstein working for? So some very awkward timing for this trip, guys. Very awkward timing, all Epstein-y, this is stirring up a lot of diplomatic mess. People on social media are blowing up and blowing things out of proportion. I would say that it doesn't matter. And I'm meaning this with 100% sincerity. I think we all know that our politicians are, I think we all know that our politicians are, I think we all know that our politicians are, what's the word I'm looking for, compromised. We only have to look at Keir Starmer's background that's readily available on Wikipedia to understand the levels of compromisation. So I don't, I think people are focusing on the wrong things. Yes, I would speculate that these people do have that direct connection. And, I would say, and do you know what? I'm not saying this. Wikipedia is saying that there's a link also to Keir Starmer back to Jeffrey Epstein. There is. That is one, it's not me saying that, guys. I'm not speculating. That's literally, I think we did it the other day. There's if you write Lord Ali into Wikipedia and press return, you can do 1, 2, 3 clicks. 3 clicks on Wikipedia. Literally, guys, 3 clicks on Wikipedia, and you can find a direct link from Keir Starmer to Jeffrey Epstein. That's not me making it up. They are literal 3 links you can do. 3 links you can do, and you get that link from Keir Starmer to Jeffrey Epstein. So none of this makes any, none of this should be controversial to people who've been following this channel. Tiggs is saying, yes, there's links on Company's House too between them. Yeah, so Tiggs sent me and sorry guys if I'm missing anyone's comments. The chat's there's quite a lot of things going up. Tiggs 100 is saying, yes, there is links on Company's House between them. So for those of you guys who don't know, Company's House is where you register a limited company, and a lot of you can find a lot of nefarious information out about there. There was what's his name as well, Robert Jenrick. Robert Jenrick was gifted £50,000 from a company that had no turnover, no staff, and I think it had only just been like incorporated. So you're thinking like, all right, where's this money come from? Why is it being given? Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, you can't hide anything anymore. You really you can't hide anything. So like when I do a video and I've got a very obscure news article behind me, it's because I know that that's true. Or I've got like somebody's post and I'll say this. I'll say this article posted on X is saying X, Y, and Z. Now the reason I have to do it that way is because if I say this is happening, I'll get my I'll get that video taken down for fake news. So, but what I'm saying is all the information you want to find out about anyone, anything, almost anything, it's all readily available, easily achievable, easily findable, just by short Google searches. But the problem is, excuse me, the problem is a lot of people don't believe it. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people are in absolute denial. Anyway, let's continue about the. In fact, let me get a live on this, guys, because I'm just monologuing at the moment. Let me just Google this. Right, I've got Sky News live. Trump state visit. London's mayor says US president has fanned the flames of the far right. He's a piece of work, isn't he? What do we think about Sadiq Khan, guys? Like, what do we think about Sadiq Khan? Donald Trump has arrived in the UK at the start of his historic second state visit, with the first events kicking off this morning. The 48-hour trip will be marked by pageantry, politics, protest, and maybe something else beginning with P. With 4 people arrested already, follow every twist and turn of the visit here. Right, I'm just going to go down because there has been an update 4 minutes ago. UK hopes Trump brings an AI invasion. I don't. Just so you guys know, I'm not hoping that Donald Trump brings an AI invasion. The tech deal struck between the US and the UK is celebrated as a win in Britain. So again, like when I'm looking at this, I'm just looking at this on the broader spectrum. So if Europe loses the war in Europe and that whole spectrum, so Europe, Russia, and China are one block, the United Kingdom becomes the vanguard. So it would make sense for the United States to invest in AI here in the United Kingdom, so we have that computing power to identify and neutralize threats. The energy problem. To help power that, nuclear deals have also been struck. Now, remember the other day we was talking about nuclear deals. So anytime I see a nuclear deal between the United States and the UK, I'm always thinking secondary military applications. So in a minute, I'll try and find out where that nuclear power plant's being built. And I bet, I don't know where it is, guys, but if it's, well, it will be a definite thumbs up if it's built on that east coast somewhere on the east coast of the United Kingdom. So we're building all these data centers in the UK. So we're also doing, how much power do they need? Maybe it's all connected. There are concerns about Britain's creaking energy grid, whether we can meet those demands, but also really high energy costs. Now, this is now being packaged with the tech deals and a hope that powering AI will improve growth and productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to break this to you. If you have a job now, it's probably going to get taken by AI. If you've got a job, think about it. If you have a job, like most jobs can be taken now by AI. Call centers. If you work in a call center, that's going to be taken by AI. If you work as a cashier at a bank, that's going to be taken by AI. If you work anything office related, AI is going to take that job. 100%, guys. You know, AI is going to take that job now. You can jump now or you can be pushed later on. It's entirely up to you what you do. But we are moving now into this situation where we have more people searching for less jobs. You know, that is the reality. And AI is going to take a ton of jobs. Heightened security at Windsor. Oh, that looks beautiful. There's I didn't realize how close you can get to the to Windsor Castle. You can get right up to it. Anticipated and heightened security on special day in Windsor Castle. There's a sense of anticipation as you walk through Windsor this morning. You don't need to come here often to know that this is a significant day. Huge American and Union flags, the main road through the town with the heightened security clear to see as you walk around. Do you know what, guys? I've never actually seen these aspects of Windsor Castle, and it's like right there, isn't it? Like there's like shops like 10 feet in front of it. That's crackers. Trump protest organizer hoping tens of thousands will turn out later. I don't think so, guys. It's wet. It's starting to get cold. You will get a lower turnout. Right. Sorry, guys. Let me get some questions on the chat, and then we'll move forward. DB Cooper on YouTube is saying Mossad has US and British and other countries' politicians by the things that you have them by. And they are easily blackmailed. Yeah. Now, the reason, the way out of this, guys, we need to pay our politicians more. Like, you know, if you're a politician and you're earning like, I don't know, 100 grand a year or whatever it is, and somebody comes up to you and says, I will give you $1 million if you do this, you're going to take it. You're going to take it. 100% you're going to take it. If we pay our politicians, I mean the constituents pay our politicians, we stop that. That doesn't happen anymore because those politicians are not going to want to lose their job for, you know, by earning a little bit of money on the side. So they will work for their constituents. Every time, guys, I tried to float this to reform. I tried to float this idea to reform, but they didn't listen. I was telling people in reform that, you know, this is what we need to do. We need to have a situation whereby the so say that, guys, let me just quickly. The political system in the UK is absolutely broken. And the way we fix this, we fix it financially. So straight away, it's not going to cost anybody any more money. It's just going to get rid of incompetence, basically. What we do is say that you live in Windsor. If you live in Windsor and you vote for for your MP, your member of parliament, and they get elected because they say they're going to increase the market days, they're going to give you another bin collection day, they're going to increase rail networks, and they're going to reduce council tax. If when they get elected, they don't do any of that, they actually close the market down, reduce the rail capacity, and raise council tax, then the people of Windsor, they say, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, we're not going to pay you. You're not getting any money this week or this month, you know. And we don't spend it, you know, this won't cost anybody any more money. This money would come out of the council tax. So every couple of, every month you just opt in or opt out to pay your local politician. What that would do is and if they were doing a good job, you can pay them more. So they would get more money. And that's how I think the payment structure should be set up. Otherwise, we have what we have now in the UK, where we have politicians literally telling you anything that they think you want to hear. They will tell you anything that you want to hear to get elected. And then when they're elected, they do what they want for 4 years. That is the absolute reality, guys. Right, I'm just jumping up because there's been another update. 2 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen. So from 2 minutes ago update. I've got a couple of answers up my sleeve for the president, says Honor Guard Captain. Lieutenant Colonel Storm Green. I mean, is that his name? There's a guy called Lieutenant Colonel Storm Green. I mean, he's going to be he's going to be in charge of the British military at some point. Captain of the Guard of Honor at Windsor Castle says he's looking forward to meeting President Trump later on today. Speaking to, I'm not even going to go with that. That's not relevant. Right, let me jump up, guys. Hang on a minute. Hive and Bumblebee is saying Raven is misinformed. What am I misinformed? Hive and Bumblebee, what am I misinformed in, buddy? What am I misinformed in? Hive and Bumblebee, can you articulate that into a better comment? Because I don't know what you think I'm misinformed on. I'm just waiting for Hive and Bumblebee to respond. Right, Hive and Bumblebee, I don't know what you mean I'm misinformed on. Please educate me. If I'm saying something wrong, guys, and it's wrong, please correct me. You know, if I mean, you know, I'm not meaning this disrespectfully. If you jump up and say you don't know what you're talking about, I've been talking about a lot of stuff. So if you could please let me know what I'm wrong about, Hive and the Hive and Bumblebee. If you could let me know what I'm wrong on, please. You know, I'll either defend myself or I will say, oh, okay, if I'm wrong on that, then fair enough, and you know, I will correct my mannerisms. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking today about Donald Trump is in the United Kingdom now. Second state visit, pomp, pageantry, protests, all sorts of crazy stuff's going to be happening today. So we're getting that for you guys live. Also, this is building up as that direction, you know, that further direction towards, you know, the United Kingdom becoming part of the United States. So let's just continue then, guys. Let's continue a little bit. So I'm going to tell you now what I believe Trump is actually doing. So we're going to talk about his movements, and then anytime there's going to be some, you know, anytime there's an update, we'll get you that. So what's Donald Trump actually doing then? What's he doing? Because this visit is packed with, you know, it's packed with all sorts of craziness. Yesterday, what was it, 16th of September, you know, Donald Trump and Melania, they landed at Stansted Airport, you know, greeted by the US ambassador, royal representative, and the Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper. Now, can you guys remember when Yvette Cooper was standing there on a protest, you know, on an anti-Trump protest? Well, she's changed her tune, hasn't she? She's changed her tune all of a sudden. She's shaking hands and hotty, hotty, ho. You know, so, you know, she's what I think about people. If people change their tunes, you know, if people change their tunes so quickly, how can you believe they're going to stand for their beliefs? So Yvette Cooper here, obviously, you know, a couple of months ago, maybe it was like do you know what? It might have actually been the last US state visit. I think it was. Yeah, it was. On the last US state visit, so quite a few years ago, actually, you know, Yvette Cooper was out there. She was protesting against Trump coming to the United Kingdom. She was giving speeches on how much of a bad person he is. And now she's doing a little curtsy. And when I see that, and when you guys see that as well, we look at this and we think, okay, so you're changing your tune. And those people who, what is it? If you if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. It's kind of the vibes I'm getting right now off this government. Anyway, so they landed at Stansted. They were, as I understand it, they went to Windsor Castle because the Buckingham Palace is, I don't know, they're renovating it. I don't know what that means. You know, no public events, just some downtime to prepare for the whirlwind that begins today. So today, ladies and gentlemen, it's the big ceremonial day. This morning, you're going to have Prince William, Princess Catherine. You know, she's back in action. They welcomed Trump at Windsor Castle. Allegedly, I wasn't there, guys. I wasn't there. King Charles and the Queen are hosting a formal reception. There's going to be like, you know, there's probably going to be some little vol au vents and those, you know, those salmon, those bits of toast you get with the salmon and it's like folded and there's some herbs on top. I'm sure there's going to be those. Red Arrows are going to be doing a fly past. 35 jets are going to be going over, guys. That's going to be fantastic, you know. And it's all going to be very God Save the Queen. It's going to be like God Save the King meets Top Gun. Later on today, you know, Trump's going to be paying his respects to Queen Elizabeth's tomb and in St. George's Chapel, followed by a quick tour and a performance by the local choir. Then it's going to be time for a carriage procession through the Windsor estate. So I can't wait to see that, guys. I can't wait to see Donald Trump. I can't wait to see Donald Trump in that carriage. I can't, honestly. I'm probably going to get a picture of that and use it as my screenshot for my WhatsApp. Now, that's something they skipped previously for security reasons. Now, tonight, there is a time banquet. There's a big dinner. And I love those big dinners, guys. I do. I love a big dinner at Windsor with all the royal glitz you'd expect, plus a special, a special ceremony on the Eastern Lawn. Now, that's what's happening today. I'm looking forward to seeing Donald Trump in that little carriage, guys. I am. I really want to see Donald Trump in that little carriage, being pulled along by those horses. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to get some comments on. YouTube, guys. Debbie Doobs is saying it's all part of the plan to get us on universal basic income. I believe so, guys. I really do believe the direction of travel right now is to get people onto universal basic income. And what we're seeing right now is this absolute, like, look, guys, I don't know if you understand how terrifying artificial intelligence is. Like, there was a call center in, I don't know if it's still open. I think it's called Capita. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Right. Capita call center. Wrong question. How many people wow. Okay, right. Okay. So here's right. Stop this, guys. Stop. Right. Everybody needs to, right, ladies and gentlemen, right. I didn't actually realize how bad this was. Right. Wow. 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 Right. So these numbers are wild. All right. So when we're talking about artificial intelligence taking over, I just did, and you guys can do this as well. I just did a quick search. How many people does Capita employ? I'll tell you what it says. And Capita employee count varies significantly depending on the source data. However, it ranges from low end 34,000 to high end 50,000. So let's just go high end because it's an easier number to work with. High end Capita employ 50,000 people. One AI, all those people are unemployed. One AI, one company, Capita, one AI would take all those people out of work. What are those people going to do, guys? 50,000 people unemployed like that with the implementation of artificial intelligence. Now, of course, they're not going to do it like that. It's going to happen slowly but aggressively. Now, that's just capita. Do you think your job could be completed by AI? I'm talking about clerical work. I'm talking about legal work. I'm talking about, anything where you're sat at a desk, speaking to people on the phone, anything that's not physical with your hands. Literally, AI can take that. Like, that will be going to AI. And if you think this is not happening already, go to your bank. Go and have a look at your bank. Most banks are closing down now. Most banks are closing their front of house. So banks are turning to AI. It's only a matter of time, guys, before there is mass unemployment. And as Debbie Doobs is saying there, quite rightly so, all this direction of travel is to push people into universal basic income. Because I'm just asking how many people are unemployed in the UK. Wow, 4.7%. That seems a lot. Wow. Listen, guys, I didn't realize this as well. So hang on a minute. So in the 3 months to July 2025, the UK has 1.6 million unemployed people with an unemployment rate of 4.7%. I can remember, guys, I'm sure I can remember, like in the 90s or maybe the early noughties. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong with this. I'm pretty sure I can remember it was on the news and there was a news article and they were saying employment has hit 3% for and it was a big thing. But now we've got an employment rate of 4.7%. Now, guys, listen, this 4.7% does not take into consideration the almost million people in the United Kingdom who don't have the right to work. So that 1.6 million, I could argue that's actually I could argue that's closer to 3 million. I could argue that's closer to 3 million. But anyway, and 200,000 of that has been an increase of 200,000 over the last year. Wow. I didn't realize that, guys. I didn't realize how bad unemployment in the United Kingdom was. That is phenomenal. Like, I didn't realize that. That's insane. Yeah, so listen, and he just kind of emphasizes the things we're talking about there. This artificial intelligence takeover. It's going to take your jobs. And if you're an employer, and you, like, for example, if you're Capita, right, and Capita have 50,000 staff, what they're going to do, this is how they'll start it. They'll say, oh, all our baseline jobs, what we're going to do is we're just going to bring in an AI. And that might get rid of 5,000 jobs. So for Capita, what are they going to do? Are they going to pay 5,000 employees sick days? You've got to deal with them. You've got to manage them. You've got to have shift managers. You've got to have all that faff. Or are they just going to have AI answer the phone? And let's not pretend that AI can't answer a phone. Let's not pretend that we can't have conversations with AI, because we can. So that would be the first step. And then all the line manager will be like, oh, yeah, but my job's safe. Yeah, oh, no, my job's safe because I'm now managing this AI. Oh, yeah, I'm managing this AI. And Steve-O is saying, thank goodness I'm a bus driver. Steve-O, my friend, I'm sorry, but those jobs are going as well. Autonomous vehicles are here. So I'm sorry, Steve-O, but your job will be gone to AI very soon. It will. And I'm not meaning to rain on your parade. But I'm sorry, Steve-O, but if you're a bus driver, if you're a taxi driver, if you're a delivery driver, a logistics driver, anything to do with driving commercially, That's gone to AI as well. That has gone to AI as well, guys. You know, so that's gone as well. So you know, so imagine you're there now at Capita, and you are, you know, oh, we've got all the phone answerers. We've given all that to AI, and all the line managers are like, whoo, all the ones that are not very smart. They're like, whoo, we're safe. All the line managers are being kept because AI is just taking the menial jobs, and we're going to manage the AI. Right? Okay. Yeah, we kind of find that this AI doesn't need as much management as people, so we're going to get rid of half of you. Oh, thank goodness. I'm one of the ones that stayed behind. I'm one of the ones that stayed behind, and I've managed to keep my job. Yeah, you half. You know, you're not really doing much, so we're going to give AI your job as well. We don't actually need those being managed. Oh, okay, we're gone. And slowly but surely, AI will take pretty much all of those 50,000 jobs. Now, you can imagine when AI takes those jobs, it's not like those 50,000 people are going into the workplace and there's jobs available, because AI is taking more jobs. So there's more people searching for less jobs. And the jobs that these people could go into have already been taken by AI. That's coming, guys. That's coming. Don't think it's not. And please, guys, you know, please just take heed to this warning and do whatever you can now. Do whatever you can now and understand what's coming, guys. You know, do whatever you can now. Right, let me continue. Sorry, guys. The chat. I've got the chat open this morning. For some reason, the software, when I opened TikTok up this morning, it was being funny. It was glitching. It's been glitching all day. It's been an absolute glitch of a glitch. Some of your comments are coming on a lot. My screen keeps freezing. It wouldn't let me put the subscribers only chat on. So I'm just going with it, guys, right? The chat's going wild this morning. So I do apologize if I can't get all of your chats. Right, I'll jump up and get some off TikTok though. Polsky is saying, thank God I'm a landlord. Well, Polsky, your job, you're a landlord, and unless you're looking at government contracts, they're coming for you as well. They're making it very difficult for private. Well, I don't know how many properties you have. I think if you've got more than 10 properties, you're going to be safe. If you've got less than 5, you won't be safe. Lish GB is saying, you're so right. Oh, thank you. Are you responding to me, Lish GB? I don't know. Zach Lynchman is saying, we are going into the fight of our lives to good humans get prepared. No joke. I agree. We are going into absolute craziness. Oh, and thank you, Lish. Thank you, Lish, for agreeing. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let me continue with Trump. The comments, right, I tell you what I'm going to do. Right, I'll get this comment here on YouTube, and then I'll continue with what's happening with Trump's visit, and then we will start to close this live stream down on TikTok, and then I will jump over to YouTube, and then I'll just be on YouTube. Starmer already announced a 32-hour working week by 2026, saying 3 days on, 4 days off. What? How will that work? Does that work for school? Is that for schools as well? 3 days on and 4 days off. I don't know. Oh, guys, I can't look. Philip Gray, a man of my own heart. Philip Gray is saying we've all seen Terminator. We've all seen Terminator. I watched Terminator when I was far too young, and it kind of stayed with me for life. Yeah, we have all watched Terminator, and we all know the pitfalls of Cyberdyne systems. Okay, so we just talked about what's happening with Donald Trump today. We're going to talk about the itinerary tomorrow. So tomorrow, September the 18th, things get political. Trump will be meeting with Keir Starmer to talk about trade, technology, global issues. The war in Ukraine is going to be key, guys. The war in Ukraine tomorrow is going to be absolutely key for tomorrow's talks. They're expected to launch a US US-UK technological partnership, you know, AI, quantum computing, I don't know, but that's what they're expected to launch. You know, big names involved, OpenAI, Apple, you know, all these big technology companies are going to be involved. I'm not convinced. I kind of think we need to calm down and go back a little bit, but we can't go backwards, you know. They're also going to be talking about a civil nuclear energy deal. Now, look, guys, a lot of secrets, a lot of military secrets are hidden in the nuclear energy industry, because nobody looks for them there. You know, so when I hear nuclear energy, I'm also thinking nuclear weapons. I'm also thinking directed energy weapons. I'm also thinking lasers, EMPs, all that sort of stuff. However, don't hold your breath for any big wins on the trickier topics like Ukraine or Gaza. Now, this is me speculating, guys. I don't think, I mean, we've all seen David Lammy coming out there saying he wants this, saying he wants that, saying he's going to do this. But, you know, let's just be clear. I don't think there's going to be any peace deals or ceasefires in this visit. You know, Donald Trump doesn't have the authority in Ukraine. He doesn't have the authority in the Middle East. Or the very best what the United States can do is pull funding, which they've already done. They've already pulled funding from the Ukraine war. You know, and the Europeans are paying that now, which I think is right and proper. They're going to be talking about Trump's demands on tariffs. They're going to be talking about Russian oil, I guess. They're going to be talking about global trade. You know, and by the end of the day, you would like to consider the Trumps will be waved off by Lord Chamberlain, and that will be a wrap. So that's Trump's visit. He's going to be back to the US of A. Now, he's going to go back on Thursday. And just for me, one of the things I always say, when you get these world leaders meeting, you get the entourage that goes with them. So with Donald Trump, he will have a military advisor with him, an attaché or whatever, and he will be talking to the British military guys, and they'll be hatching a plan and talking about things that are going to happen in Ukraine. Once they've gone, those people will then have to travel to Ukraine and back brief the guys on the ground. So normally, and it's not always, this is not always the case, but normally the weekend after, the Friday after, you get a big military movement. So maybe, so let's just say this now. Let's just speculate now. Let me look at the calendar here. Let me look at my calendar. Give me a second. Can we say a potential date? Look, and I'm just literally thinking this off the top of my head. A potential date for the 27th of September. 27th of September. 27th of September. You heard it here, guys. I'm putting this down as a date. 27th of September could be a big military movement into Ukraine. We already know that a lot of troops are moving. We know there's this Eastern Sentry operation. 27th of September, guys. Put it in your diary and just put a question mark beside it. So I'm calling it now, guys. Get ready for, and I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm saying there's a potential for something to happen on the 27th of September in the Ukraine front. Because of the time it takes to do things. Anyway, right, let me get some of these comments and then we'll move forward. Steve-O is saying, Raven, I've been enjoying your news channel for 2 years. Thank you so much, buddy. Nicola is saying 999. Are you okay, Nicola? Nicola's saying 999. Are you okay? Seriously? Like, Nicola Apicola is saying 999. I hope you're okay, Nicola. Lincolnshire hog roast. Oh, I'd like a good hog roast. Can you remember when you used to go to the markets as a kid and they would have like a hog roast on a spit and they would like cut you stuff off? Lincolnshire hog roast is saying Trump is coming over to tell the UK to join the USA, the US state of the United Kingdom by 2050. I believe so as well. Danny Boy is saying, I said, yeah, and you was right. Well, you could be right, Danny Boy. Remember, we don't know. Danny Boy the other day, let me pin this. So Danny Boy the other day said from his sources on the ground. So Danny Boy knows people in the military who are out in Ukraine, not Ukraine, sorry, in Poland. And he was saying that from word on the street, his speculation is boots on the ground, end of September, by September or the beginning of October. Now, if we just did my maths by those rules I go by, whereby I say, right, historically, when two world leaders meet, the weekend, the Friday after that, the next significant Friday after that, usually get a big military movement. So if we think Donald Trump's going home on Thursday, that's not going to be enough time. So it's going to have to be the next Friday, which would be September the 27th, which would fit in with Danny Boy's, which would split in with Danny Boy's speculation as well. Oh, and Nicola Plant is saying the date, September the 27th in numerology is 999. And if you put that upside down, it's 666. Did we just come to this agreement collectively, guys? Did we just come to the agreement collectively that boots on the ground, 27th of September? Like, did we just come to that agreement? I think there's a lot of people saying it in there. So, look, guys, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I have an 8 ball. And I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that accurate. Right, let's ask the 8 ball. Boots on the ground in Ukraine, September 27th. So it shall be. So it shall be, guys. Even the 8 ball's agreeing. Right. Is the 8 ball right? Are we going to have boots on the ground 27th of September 2025? I don't know. So when people come up and they're like saying, "Oh, Sean, you said boots on the ground." No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the dates and everything's adding up. Whether it happens or not, there could be other flies in the ointment. A shipment of plot devices may or may not get delivered. There's a whole host of things that could happen. I don't know, but what we're saying is, from Danny Boy's comments, from his sources on the ground in Poland, from Nicola Apicola, I hope I'm saying that right, Nicola Apicola. From Nicola Apicola, her numerology is saying that that's the right date. And I'm saying, just from my experience of watching these global events, oh, is the 27th? No, I think the 27th is the 27th. I think the 27th of Friday. Oh, yeah, it is. Right, okay. 26th then. 26th. We'll go with 27th. Right, we'll go with 27th. 26th. Sorry, Debbie Doobs. Well done, Debbie Doobs. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, you are right. Let's just say 26th, 27th. Could happen early hours in the morning, but let's just say that time period. All right, let's just say that time period. And I guess it'll be the 27th somewhere. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Zach is saying, I love Poland, big love. Lincolnshire is saying, I fly to Greece on the 24th. Let's keep it all calm until I'm home. Yeah, airspaces do get closed. I think you would be okay. Greece isn't really. Yeah, I think you'd be okay with Greece. I remember back in 2010? 2010 or 2011, there was that big ash cloud erupted over Greenland and all the airspace was closed. I was stuck in Dubai for I think I was stuck in Dubai for a week before the airspace opened up. Frozen is saying there are already boots on the ground in Ukraine. Yeah, there are already boots on the ground in Ukraine. We know this from open source media. What I'm talking about here is that big green movement where you've got these big military corridors. You've got tanks rolling down en masse. You've got, artillery pieces. You've got all that logistical support going into Ukraine. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I'm saying is the historical dates are pointing to not this Friday, but next Friday. Through numerology, it's pointing to it, and also Danny Boy's got has friends on the side has friends out in Poland, and he's saying that could be a likelihood. Remember, I'm saying that the dates are adding up, and I always say this, nobody can predict the future with 100% certainty, and even the 8-ball guys, even the magic 8-ball says so it shall be. Tiggs is saying always happens on a Friday. Yeah, it does. And I'll just real quick, I'll just explain why things always happen on a Friday. If you're going to do one of these big military moves and you know when it's coming, you can make a ton of money. Now, the easiest to visualize is if you imagine two oil pipelines, all right, in country X, two oil pipelines in country X. If you're going to have a massive military strikes on country X, and you do it on a Friday, you can bet on the stock market for the pipeline that you know is going to stay intact. If you do it on a Friday, when the stock market's closed, you have all those days for that stock market to readjust. So when it opens on a Monday, you're going to make a ton of money. And nobody can do anything because the stock market's closed. Now, that's the financial reason. And there's Tiggs, I think it's Tiggs 100, I think. Let me find this again. Let me try and find this. I can't find it. Right, okay. Right, I can't. Right, I think it was Tiggs 100 who posted things always happen on a Friday. So that's the financial reasons why you would do things on a Friday. You can make a ton of money. So you imagine the politicians and they're saying, yep, we're going to do this military strike. We're going to do it then. We're going to do this. Everything's in place. Yeah. Can you do it on a Friday? Makes no sense for them not to do that. Whether you agree with that or not, that's what I believe happens, and we know it happens. Also, on a Friday, you get people skiving off work. You do. People skive off work, so people don't turn up on a Friday. People want to leave early on a Friday. Over the weekend, there's less people there. It's just easier to get stuff done on a Friday because there's no one in. Politicians have gone home. You get that, you really are reaching a minimal mass, so you can push things through a lot quicker. So that's what we say. That's why I always say things about Friday. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the crux, I am going to turn this off now. And I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I'll be over on YouTube and we'll be going through the live updates that have just come on Sky News, which we've got a couple. We've got one, two. We have got a couple of updates on. I've got quite a few updates on Sky News that we're going through, guys. So if you're going to jump over to YouTube, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. And of course, I'm the Real Raven 1 on TikTok. If you're not going to do that, guys, please hit the follow buttons, the like, subscribe. All those things that help me out, guys. Help me out. I really appreciate each and every one of your little buttons that you guys are touching. So anyway, guys, I'm going to close this down now on TikTok, if it lets me, because the algorithm's been an absolute night. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare lately, TikTok, on the live streams. The whole thing is just giving me dramas. So I may be able to turn you guys off. I may not. And if not, I'll see you later on today at 8, and we'll give an update on what's been happening today. And if not, I'll see you whenever. I'll see you later, guys. I think we can turn it off. I think we're good. Yes, we're off. We are off. We are off. Right. Right. So the screen. Right. I don't know what this means here. Right, I've got to do something because right, I'll look at that later. I will look at that later. Right. Right, I'm just going to jump to the bottom of these chats, ladies and gentlemen. Right, Priv Caro is saying, my brother is going to Poland next week for a school trip. They are reconsidering how safe is it. What should he do to be safer when he gets there? Okay. So I would say, and I've always said, that if another country is going to be, attacked, it's going to be Poland. But that is going to be limited to military targets, so air bases, the military buildup in places like Rzeszów, Przemyśl. Yeah, those military encampments near the border, they're going to be the main targets. If your brother is going, I would say make sure he's got like a spare phone charger, like a battery pack for his phone, because that is a big one. Like right now, our smartphones really are an absolute lifesaver. Debbie Doob's a swan. I don't know what that means. Make sure he keeps in contact and make sure he keeps his passport, his phone, all his particulars with him at all time, and make sure he doesn't take anything with him that he doesn't mind leaving out there. So when I travel, I will always, and again, you can take this advice or you can not. When I always travel to other countries, I will always go to, like, I don't know, Primark or somewhere, just buy myself brand new clothes, like really cheap, low bottom, whatever the cheapest stuff is, and I will go out there in those clothes. The reason being is because I don't want to. I've been stuck in those situations where you can't get back to your hotel and you have to leg it. Now, nobody wants to have their brand new MacBook Pro or their fancy bits of kit and equipment left in the hotel, because then you're under the dilemma. You're like, right, do I go back to the hotel, risk getting captured or worse, or do I just make it for the train station or the airport? So, yeah, I hope I've answered that question. It's a dog's life. He's saying, did you see Bodyguard Fred has called out Bob Villain as well? It's a short on working class patriot. Yeah, the guy's a douchebag, guys. I think I'm going to do another Bob Villain video later on. Tim Linsky is saying, my Polish mate being home after 7 years, he says it's amazing now, the amount of money there, the population are happy, they have work. He was amazed. Guys, look, Poland's a fantastic place. It really is. Like, I don't think there's another, like, I don't like, if you go to Krakow Old Town, the market in Krakow Old Town, like the Old Town Square, it's absolutely beautiful. And if you walk through there when it's been snowing, I'm not gonna lie, guys, you'll probably just break down and start crying because it's that beautiful. It'll be like Gimli when he sees Galadriel. Right, I'm gonna get these updates now on Sky News. Let me refresh this. Right, 3 minutes. Right. In fact, you know what, guys? I'm going to go to the toilet first because I am going to get all these comments. Can you, ladies and gentlemen, just wait there, chat among yourselves, somebody tell a joke, and I'll be right back. Ah. Right. Let's get on these comments. Let's get on these. Let's get on this chat, guys. One meeting is vital to watch out for today. This is from Sky News. Tens of thousands of jobs in the UK depend on a good economic relations with the US. You see, this is what winds me up, ladies and gentlemen. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. Artificial intelligence is coming for our jobs. We can't stop it. We cannot stop it. You know, so these guys here, they're so one-dimensional. Who's done this? Matt Barber, I think, is writing this article. So he's saying that lots of jobs in the UK are dependent on good economic relations with the US. Well, if the US are bringing this super powerful artificial intelligence into the UK, then that's thousands, hundreds of like, you know, we just did the maths there, didn't we? You know, that is a potential 50,000 jobs. Do you know what? I'm going to ask AI another question now. Right, I'm just asking, and I am asking AI, how many people are employed in office jobs in the UK? Wow. 25.7% are employed. So 25.7% of all of all jobs in the UK are office jobs. I need a number. All right. So when we're talking about jobs, 37.1 million people are employed in office jobs. And I would say all of those office jobs, AI will take them. Do you hear what I'm saying now, guys? People don't understand what's coming. As an employer, right, if I'm employing 5 staff and I have to pay them, I don't know, $2,000 a month or whatever. Am I gonna pay them $2,000 a month? Or, which is what, like over $100,000 a year? Or am I going to buy an AI for 10 grand that does the job of 20 staff quicker, more efficient, doesn't take days off? I can run my business 24/7. Like, which one of those options am I going to do? Do you see? Do you see how AI is going to take all those jobs? 37.1 million jobs are at risk right now from AI. And you know what, guys? I'm not even going to say they're at risk. They're as good as gone. They just don't understand they're gone yet. And people are in denial, you know. People are literally in denial about this artificial intelligence takeover. And I don't think it's just because it's better and cheaper. And that's what happens in capitalism. You know, something that's better and cheaper will always prevail. So now we're going to have 37.1 million people unemployed. What are we going to do with those people? How are they going to support themselves? Not only are we going to have 37.1 million people unemployed, but we're going to have 37.1 million less jobs. Do you see how the maths just does not add up, guys? Literally, the maths doesn't add up. So this is why you would bring in universal basic income. So now what you do is you give 37.1 million, you give everybody actually in the country free money to spend, and you change the global dynamics. you change that, you change that financial system, because we are in late stage capitalism. So once you change that financial system, those people start spending in shops. Those shops start buying new stuff, and you get that money moving again. You get that direction move. But the terrifying thing about universal basic income is, if you don't do as you're told, you get your money turned off. And there you have it, guys. There you have it. You don't do as you're told, you get your money turned off. Trident is saying the amount of unemployed would collapse the benefit system. The country would be bankrupt if it already. So that is assuming that we can't print more money. We can. Literally, money isn't, guys, money isn't real. Money is not real. Stuff is real. This 8-ball, this Miyoki, this drill, that's real stuff. Money isn't real. You can print more. All right, guys, just wait there. I've got to go and make this call. Give me a second. Honestly, it's one thing after another at the madhouse. One thing after another, ladies and gentlemen. Right. 37.1 million jobs are going to be going to AI, and we're all going to rush it in because we're going to get our free money with universal basic income. That's the reality, guys. It doesn't really, it's here now. Unlike so many things, we can complain about it, but it's here. You can't stop it. You can't stop that artificial intelligence taking over. Impossible. What are we, right, guys, just real quick, what's all this about the swans? Why are people talking about swans here? Swans might have got him. Why is everybody talking about swans this morning, guys? Literally, like, I don't know what it is. What are we all talking about swans for? I don't know. What is it? Why are we all talking about swans? Can somebody fill me in? Did I miss something? Graham is saying AI will take over banking. Yes, they're already closed. Yeah, I don't know if you're just joining for the first time, Graham, but banking is one of the industries I said before. If you've been to your high street bank, like exactly what you're saying, and you walk into your bank, they they don't have the checkout anymore. You've got to do it yourself. Literally, it's gone. It's gone. And at some point, banks will just be computers. You'll just go in there and there'll be just computers there. Asteroid Swan. What? Right, why am I only just finding out about this now? Right, listen, Thank you, Debbie. So I'm just reading this now, guys. I'm literally just reading this from the first time. How did I miss out on an asteroid on its way here? Literally, how did I miss out on this? Right. So new bright comet Swan could perform a super October show. New comet approaching from sunward could make a fine dusk appearance in October. Hello, a bright new comet is now emerging from behind the sun's glare at dusk. It all started with a discussion on the boards this past Friday, 12th of September, about a comet seen in the wind Anthropovis. I can't pronounce that word. Swan in right. Okay, that's the observatory that saw it, I guess. Swan is based on the blah blah blah. The comet was initially Swan 25b. The find comes courtesy of Ukrainian amateur astronomer who first noticed this comet moving across the field of view in Swan images. This milestone, sorry guys, I'm just trying to read when it gets to its closest. Yeah, they don't know much information about it, do they? Right, it appears. All right, here we are. So 26 AU from Earth on October the 19th. So that's pretty far away then. No, 0.26 AU. So that's like, that's a long way. That's millions of miles. That's like, I'd say that's, well, just Raven maths. Let's say it's 26. Let's say it's 26 million miles, maybe 26 million miles away. So that's a long way. So Swan is a long way away. I don't think there's anything to worry about Swan. What I think it does highlight though, with these, these things that are coming towards Earth, asteroids, comets, whatever you want to call them, a lot of them we find and we only have like a short amount of time to respond, and given a long enough time period, one of these things are going to hit Earth. Now, for me, the big one is Apophis. That is Apophis that's going to be coming close to Earth on Friday the 13th of April 2029. For me, ladies and gentlemen, like everybody needs to get their books in order for like April 2029, because that asteroid comes underneath. So the satellites that we have orbiting our Earth, this asteroid is going to come underneath those satellites. Now, they're telling us, the space agency, the scientists, whoever, they're saying that there's no chance of this hitting Earth and everybody's going to be safe. I can also remember when those same scientists were telling us that certain things were safe and effective, and they turned out to be wrong, clearly. So I'm just like, in the back of everybody's mind, you should have like this Apophis asteroid or comet, whatever it is, that is coming ridiculously close to Earth. So, right, okay, are we getting new Swan overlords? I don't know if we're getting Swan overlords. We might be getting Atlas overlords. We could even be getting Apophis overlords. But whatever, whatever. I think they're, I think the overlords are well over. I think the overlords are well overdue. Right. Let me get back onto Trump. We welcome Trump, but this isn't a good time for. Yeah, there's not really much happening here. Yeah, security. Let me just see if there's any updates on any other updates. He might be having a lay-in. Oh, let's see what Sadiq Khan said. What Sadiq Khan said. Sir Sadiq, he's a Sir Sadiq Khan. Sir Sadiq Khan has launched a fresh attack on Donald Trump on the first day of the US president's second visit to Britain. Maybe that's the real reason they were in Windsor. The Labour mayor of London accused Trump of fueling diversive far-right politics and said his actions in the White House were straight out of an autocrat's playbook. Like Sadiq Khan didn't mention the 59% of pro-Palestinians get arrested. You know, he didn't mention that. He focused on 25 people that got arrested on the march on Saturday. And, you know, we can see what's happening, and nobody can not see what's happening. People understand, you know, you can't hide anything anymore. I'm not going to tell you what my mum was saying about him the other day. The remarks are likely to cause a fresh headache for Sir Keir Starmer, who hopes the state visit will become a political triumph for the government after a torrid few weeks. In an article for The Guardian, Sir Sadiq Khan, I feel awkward saying Sir Sadiq Khan, Sir Sadiq Khan said President Donald Trump and his coterie, I don't know what that word means, coterie have perhaps done the most to fan the flames of divisive far-right politics around the world in recent years. When he came to the UK on his first visit, I highlighted how the president had deliberately used xenophobia, racism, and otherness as an electoral tactic, introducing a travel ban on a number of Muslim-majority countries. I just think they don't want their kids to get raped. And praising white nationals in Charlottesville, Virginia. I don't know what happened in Charlottesville. 6 years later, the tactic we see from today's White House seem no different. Scapegoating minorities, illegally deporting US citizens. I don't know what that is. Deploying the military to the streets of diverse cities. I think Sadiq Khan is worried about the US military getting deployed to London. I think that's coming. Like, I think Sadiq Khan and his little lackeys are worried about the US military getting deployed to London. I mean, can you imagine it now? Chaos, carnage, all the worst things that are happening. If Donald Trump says, yeah, I'll bring the US military into London and we'll sort that shit out. Like, can you imagine people screaming, yes, yes, yes? Mr. Trump arrived in Stansted Airport with his wife last night, and the couple due to meet King Charles at Windsor Castle today. On a visit to Scotland in July, the president called Sadiq Khan a nasty person, and he said he was doing a terrible job. I can't. I mean, what do we think, guys? What do we think? Do we think London's become a safer, more vibrant place? Sandra Green is saying, be funny if Trump joined Musk, if Musk joined Trump, and opened the whole of the things they have been doing. From Now is saying, he is a sir, he's a defender of the church. How does that work with the Muslims? I don't know how that works. Listen, I think everything's, I don't trust anything at the moment. Endeavour to Preserve is saying the words far right and far left are overused. It's a divisional tactic game. Yeah, I believe it is. You know, if you go and meet a lot of these people, you've got a lot in, you know, people have more in common than they don't. I mean, I don't have anything in common with like somebody whose pronouns are he, she, they, them, has blue hair and piercings all over their face. I don't have much in common with them, but I would like to suspect if I was polite and kind to them, they'd be polite and kind back. Punk's Emporium is saying, I would welcome becoming the 51st state. Yeah, I think it's coming. You know, I really do think it's coming, guys. Anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I think I'm going to do another call out video straight after this. I'm going to call Bobby, what's his name? Bobby Villain out again. I'm going to slag him off for a bit. I'm going to chat some shit about him. I'll do another video about Bob Villain. I'll call him out. If you guys could do me a real big favor when I post that video, I might, you know, I think I'm actually going to do a live stream about it. I might do a live stream. I might do a standalone video. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this live stream down, and I will be back on later today at 8. But the crux of this video is Donald Trump's alive. Pomp, pageantry, patriotism, protests. I can't think of any other words beginning with P. Well, I can actually, but I'm not going to repeat it. They are all things to be thought about when the President Donald Trump is now here in the United Kingdom. What's going to happen? I'm sure there'll be press releases later on today. I'm sure it's going to be a nightmare for Sadiq Khan, for the Liberals. You know, there's people protesting outside Windsor Castle. All sorts of crazy stuff's going to happen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be keeping you guys informed all through the day. And if I don't do any more videos on TikTok or YouTube in the day, I am going to do a call out video later on today, actually, by Bob Villain. Please share that video onto his page, and I'll share it as well. And let's just keep that pressure on Bob Villain, guys, because he is a nasty piece of work. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys later.